Yo, what is going on, guys? Back in with another video, and yes, another microphone review. I do have other stuff that's in the works, but in today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at the MAONO PD100X microphone, which is really kind of just a redefined microphone in terms of how they go about their designs and just the complete overall layout of the microphones. But before we get into that, if you're new to the channel, just make sure you subscribe just so you can stay tuned for more videos like this and other tech reviews. Let's get into it. So, as I mentioned already, this is just going to be a rework and some tweaks in the overall designs of mono microphones. So this one, the first thing that stands out immediately is going to be the RGB coloring. The colors can be changed. There's a few different modes you can choose between, but honestly, as I always say with the RGB colors, do they look good? Yes. Do they add to the quality? No. Do they improve the quality? No. Do they make them better? No. It's just more so for the vibe and how it looks. If you're a streamer, then something you're familiar with, especially when it comes to ambient lighting. It's just something that adds to the effect, but not necessarily something that makes the microphone a whole lot better. As for the design as well, this one actually has a bass, unlike other mono microphones, which those are more designed for recording studio sessions. And the bass itself is the most sturdy and the most firm part of the microphone, which makes sense, right? If you're going to be putting it on the surface, then you want the microphone to be as sturdy as possible. But the one thing that did worry me a lot is the body of the microphone. It doesn't feel the best. I'll just put it like that. It feels like it's made out of plastic, and honestly, this is cause for concern because it really doesn't uh, reassure the fact that the microphone is going to be reinforced in case you drop it. So in hindsight, these are just things just to think about when it comes to getting this microphone. And at the front, there's going to be the dial knob, which this is a two-in-one dial, so it's going to control the microphone gain if the aux is plugged in. And when the aux is plugged in, it's going to be controlling the volume of the audio when you're monitoring the audio of the microphone in just in case you're recording. One thing I like is the LED indicator at the front, which it's going to show and indicate just at what levels the gain is and at what levels the volume is. Now, personally, I'm a visual person, so I just like to see the little things like that, which I also tend to go also towards like RGB stuff, even though I know it doesn't really add to quality of a product. It just looks better and it looks more refined, right? And then as for the connectability, so this is a microphone you can connect via XLR. I can connect also via USB-C, and there's also an aux port, but that one isn't necessarily to be able to connect and record or record the audio. It's for the microphone audio monitoring. And then at the bottom, there's going to be the button to play around and switch between the RGB lighting. Of course, as for the stand, you can also adjust it to whatever angles you want to put it at, and this is basic and standard for microphones that usually come with their own stands. And as well, the pop filter at the top can be replaced. Now, why you want to replace it, I don't know. There's already a pop filter there, but the pop filter can be removed and replaced with different other type of pop filter if you wanted to use one, or you can add an additional one on top of that. The front is also going to be the microphone mute button if you don't have the FBI listening, and it's going to be a touch capacitive button. But with microphones, the most important thing is always going to be the audio and the audio quality. The audio is going to be always the thing that is going to make the difference in terms of the quality of the purchase. So one thing with microphones that's happened recently, or at least over time, is the gap between the higher end type of microphones and the lower end type of microphones has shrunk in general. If I could put on a scale, initially the good microphones would be like at 100, and the lower end microphones would be like at a 20. Now the gap has gone to a point where like microphones like this for smaller companies gets to about 80, and then the higher end microphones like you go to Blue Yeti, those will be marked at like 100. So the gap is still there and still wide, but it's not as drastic as it used to be. So if you're looking for something that's going to be that high end, then I'd say invest in it as such and go all out and get something like that. But if you're still in your beginner phase and something just really starting up, then you can start simple and start slow and then take it on from there. as for the audio for this microphone, I think it sounds good. You know, it sounds decent. As I mentioned, there's still a gap between microphones like these and really the higher end type of microphones, but it's not that large, at least not anymore. My overall rundown on this microphone is I think it's a good microphone, even testing and playing out the audio right now as I am, and just in general, it is a good microphone for recording audio. Of course, the audio is meant to be recorded in such that you have to speak at the top of the microphone because this is a cardioid pickup pattern microphone. And if you speak at the sides, then the audio is going to be muffled or not even heard at all. So you have to make sure you use it right and use it correctly. Otherwise, regardless of what type of microphone you're trying to compare it to, it's just going to come out awful or inaudible at that. So you want to make sure you use it right, which is the first step. And then second step is just make sure you're convinced that this is the microphone for you. Now, for me, the one thing that gives me pause, this microphone, is the build quality. That's the one thing that kind of makes me cautious about the microphone in general. And but if you take all that aside, then it is a good microphone. But those are some things that you just have to keep a lookout for. Keep in mind if you're in the market and trying to get this microphone. But then again, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. I'm out.